Develop your skills, Exercise 1, Development 04, Entering Numbers. We're going to be building on the progress of the previous lesson where we set up the service employees' weekend hours in Alton Mall, Century Bank, and Newport Medical. Open the previous work that you had, and this time we're just going to enter the hours themselves. It has us start out in cell C4. Once you're in cell C4, type 6, and then, before you've done anything, look at the formula bar. You'll notice that up here, it's keeping track of what we're doing. 6, 5, 7, 2, 8, whatever. Once we have the number we want, you'll notice that it's keeping track of it and printing it up here, even though our blinking cursor here means that we're actually typing this into the cell. As we discussed previously, it will behave a little differently based on whether you're typing into the cell or into the formula bar, but when we're just entering basic numbers like this, the two are going to function the same for us. Once we're up at the formula bar, you'll also notice that there is a check mark to enter and an X to cancel. If we hit the X, it just says, okay, forget it, I'm out. If we type in that 6 and we hit the check mark, it commits it and keeps the cell selected. Letters, you'll notice, always snap to the right. There's a reason for that. Financial formatting typically prefers that right alignment with almost anything it does, whether it's a long-term projection or just a simple receipt. Numbers usually go to the right, and by default, that's what's going to happen. Once we've entered 1, you'll see it's pretty easy to do the rest. Enter number 6 over here, and you can hit Enter to add that one in. You can hit 6 over here, and we can hit Tab to add that one in. Anytime you enter a number and just commit it to the cell, it'll stay there until it's overwritten. They have you do a couple of these, clicking the cancel and the enter buttons up here, but what I find the quickest way whenever you're entering simple text like this is to use the arrow keys and the 10 keypad on the right side of a standard keyboard. Entering those top numbers, I had to click on this, I had to either click up here or press enter, and then, unless I use tab correctly and tab over, if I hit enter or down or anything else, I had to come over here and manually select the next cell. I've got a better way. Remember, up, down, left, and right much more quickly move about the sheet when you're going very short distances or just hopping to the next cell. So now, using the 10 keypad with my right hand and the arrows with my left, 8, press left, 8, press left, 8, down, 4, and then I can just go left, 0, left, 4, down, 4, right, 3, right, 0. It's a lot easier to enter this way because every movement that we require is only one cell hopping over to the right or hopping over to the left or up or down. When you only need to move one, stick with the arrow keys. A quick tap of a button sends you exactly to where you need to be. I'll enter the rest here. Voila! There we are. Hours calculated. They have you do this a slightly different way. They have you press enter, they have you press tab, they have you press these options up here. It's important to try each one. Be sure that you make each of these options work, even if they're not as efficient and not what you would normally do. Make them work with your own hands. Remember, you're always going to retain more of what you do than more of what you just see or just hear. Follow their steps through this one. Use the cancel and the enter buttons up next to the formula bar up here. Use tab and enter, but ultimately use the number keys just to zip around the sheet and quickly enter everything. It's rare, but man, it's a good day when someone asks you to do some data entry and it's single number data entry. Single number data entry on a contiguous sheet like this where you can just hop one cell to the left or right. Nothing's faster. You're moving with your left hand, entering with your right. You'll be done with even enormous forms of this in just a couple seconds as you fly through. One last thing we're going to do, we want to be sure that now that we have our column labels, our row labels, we have the hours entered, we have a title for the sheet. Say we were just the data person for Green Clean, and what we're going to do is send this sheet up to our next person in line. They're going to make the data look a little better because they're going to be the ones to present. We're just doing numbers. We've given them the basics and everything they need. They'll consider formatting and everything. Now we just need to save the sheet so we can send it to the next person in line in the business. Saving and properly formatting a sheet will be covered in the next lesson.